pieces, really.
Right, but so Doug, when you're working with an entrepreneur, obviously you're going to make them aware of this and try to get them to implement these things you're talking, the services you provide, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Because it's so important.
Yeah.
Now, and obviously this is the 21st century. Have you noticed what changes have you noticed over this year? Let's say the last 6 months, going to last year, that are affecting entrepreneurs?
Well, the whole uncertainty with the tax laws and what's going on with the fiscal cliff was an area of concern. We had several clients accelerate the sales of their business to get capital gains in place last year at a lower tax rate.
Right.
So you definitely saw that, and then there continues to be uncertainty with the fiscal cliff only being delayed for 3 months. People are still concerned there's going to be further tax increases.
We're going to go through the fiscal cliff thing every 2 months, it seems like.
I hope not, but I think you're probably right. It seems like both parties can't reach an agreement.
And I'm sure that affects an entrepreneur and how they make decisions, and whether they hire people or fire people, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that's always, taxes are always an area of concern, but it's even more concern for some. So that I think you're seeing many businesses being very cautious on adding more employees because they're concerned about the tax burden. They're also concerned about the impact that Obamacare and all the medical insurance rules have on their businesses. So they're being very cautious on expansion. I think that has put a damper on expansion.
I think I've read that in the paper, and obviously that affects the economy. Being too cautious. I understand where they're coming from, but you want them to start hiring and expanding and flourish a little more, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's why if they really look at their market and see what the competition is doing, there's some great opportunities for them to gain market share by being a little more aggressive.
Exactly. Now, since you've been doing this for quite a while, do you have any case studies? When I say case study, anything you want to share with us? You don't have to mention the client's name, how you helped the client, an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I can think of one very specifically. We have a client that is a manufacturing company, based in Massachusetts, and one of the things that they looked at was they were getting significant pressure from overseas manufacturers that were taking away one segment of their business. We realized as we ran their numbers that they would have the opportunity actually to buy from a manufacturer in China at larger volume than their customers were buying, and then by doing that, they would have a margin still available to them by selling to the customers. So they were able to effectively mark up what the Chinese manufacturers were charging, and be a distributor for the Chinese in Massachusetts. Now what's happened of late, though, is they've been able to, because of quality problems with China, they brought a lot of that manufacturing back to the U.S. So I think in a lot of ways we look at the costs associated with how they're doing business and look at different and more creative ways to help them.
I do read about manufacturing coming back to this country only because, particularly China, is having problems.
Yeah, I think also.